All right, everyone, welcome into episode 25 of the Hood Brothers podcast with the quarter century mark here. Mike, how you doing?
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, we're here on a Sunday afternoon, wrapping up the weekend. Kind of a weird one weather-wise around here anyway. It snowed Friday, which is weird because I also had like a Facebook memory of the marathon in 2012 and it was like 90 degrees. So just shows you how different April can be around here.
Yeah, it's gonna be like
Um,
70 on Tuesday, and it's like
yeah,
sunny today. Like, I don't get it.
it's almost good. I feel like I've been running around the last few weekends, and I mean, I went out for a little bit today, but yesterday it was just kind of like we chilled like the whole day. We like went out just to get food like a couple times, but it was good to kind of just sleep in, take it easy, and everything. And that's where I want to start though, because then again, chill Friday night, and then same thing again yesterday, and all kind of culminated. I watched some Endgame. We went through all the Avengers movies, so watched that just in time to set up the 8:30 tip off between the Celtics and Warriors, and boy, did that live up to the hype.
Yeah, I kind of missed the first half because like it's kind of just I haven't really gotten into NBA since the tournament in college basketball.
It's tough. Yeah,
I
we
fell
mentioned this
out.
extra month that's built in now because again, it used to just like the tournament carried us to the NBA playoffs. Now we have this extra month after COVID.
Yeah, so now like I've kind of like really more into baseball. So like kind of just like was tracking like those scores and like forgot even to tune into this
Mhm.
game. And then I checked in right around the third quarter mark and it was a tie game and I couldn't be happier because it was a great Saturday night primetime game.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's the thing too. I mean, I'm just here in the apartment with the girls. So I was like, all right, well, like, let's just have our night center or like end kind of with the game here. And I said the hype. I mean, it's not quite what it used to be. I think would have been maybe a few years ago with the Warriors a bit down, but they've been on a hot streak, especially Steph Curry kind of coming into the game. Probably the last 10 games have been some of the best basketball he's ever played, which is insane from the back to back. And I think one time unanimous MVP. So a lot of excitement going on. Again, the Saturday primetime games, I feel like I never really get into a lot of them, but they can be good, especially it seems like when the Celtics play. It somehow ends up being like a very good game, these Saturday night games on ABC.
Yeah, I was at the one last year with the against the
Oh,
Rockets.
pretty
Ended up
much
being
the
ended up
like
being a
2 weeks before
loss.
COVID.
Yeah, it was literally well, it was leap day. It was February 29th last year.
Yes, yes. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that was the tip out to Jalen at the buzzer that the other just losing in overtime.
Mhm.
I was at Hooters watching that game. Again, if I had only known what was about to come down on the world. But yeah, so let's start there. Like I said, we had an instant classic last night. So obviously going into the game, kind of a bummer with the announcement that Jalen Brown was going to be out. He obviously had a great game against the Lakers on Thursday night. So I guess we could even mention that game as well. Well, I guess we'll start with the Warriors game first. So I know the Laker game actually happened in the middle here, but so yeah, no Jalen coming off the 40-point game against the Lakers, but it started kind of like that was very noticeable because it early on it was a lot of Tatum and really not a lot of anybody else. Kemba was kind of chipping in here and there, but for a while it just seemed like Tatum was actually very efficient, but it seems like if he didn't have the ball, if someone else had it, there was a miss, and then really more on the defensive end, they dug themselves quite a hole pretty early on.
Yeah, I remember like checking and seeing it was like a 12-point game with a half with the deficit,
Mhm.
and I was like, when you think of that, you're like, oh, like there's no scoring from Jalen, but like you said, it was really the defense because I believe they got up like 60 points in the first half,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
like it seemed like they were scoring at will.
Yeah.
So happily they were able to kind of just make it into a shootout by the end of the game.
Right, and that's really what was happening there. It's like it's almost like their offense wasn't bad, but it was like every miss felt like 5 misses in a row because you weren't getting any stops in the defensive end. So say you miss 2 shots, it's like that's like a 4 to 6 point swing in a matter of just a couple possessions. But they were able to sneak back in, especially right at the end of the first half. There was a huge kind of surge there. Um, I mean, Steph was unconscious last night for a lot of the game, just knocking down threes. Every time you thought you were done with them, they weren't. But it was really, it turned into be for the most part, kind of a one-on-one game between him and Tatum, who chipped in a lot. Like I said, at the end of the half, there he hit the buzzer beater at kind of fadeaway jumper on the baseline to cut it to 6 at halftime, which was insane because they were down 16 early on in the first half. So able to cut it to 6 at half, and they came out again guns a blazing in the second half. 2 big threes from Kemba actually along with Tatum here because Tatum needed some help. He needed a Robin there with him, and Kemba did deliver.
Hmm. Yeah, because like that was the thing. Like I tuned in like kind of right at the beginning of the third quarter, and they went on
Mm-hmm.
that run. I believe they went up 7 points, and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
Like I think we're gonna like pull away from this team, and then next thing you know, is Curry just hit a bunch of threes, and next thing they're down.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So Steph went on, I got a tear. Yeah. I think they got it. Yeah. They got it to like three, and then Steph hits two more, and they go up three. So it was kind of quite the swing there. But yeah, they got contributions on offense. Like I said, Kemba was able to get up to 27. Pritchard was very efficient off the bench as well. And then how about the new guy? 2014 number 2 overall pick, Jabari Parker, signed on Friday, I think, by the Celtics. Friday afternoon or something like that. They parted ways with Mo Wagner, and Jabari just came in, took the number, took everything, and he was very good in limited minutes. I think he had 11 points on I think it was a 5 of 8 shooting or something like that. It's something very efficient. He had two early turnovers his first 2 possessions. I think he threw the ball away and then he dropped the pass like right away. I was like, oh god, but he got over that, and he was actually again very efficient in this game.
Yeah, it seems like because he was so like fresh into the system, he just of course the first couple of plays was probably just like getting used to it. But I think after that he was like, screw it. Like even if this is a 10-day contract, I'm just gonna. His plays seemed pretty loose, and he was confident taking his own shot. Like his mid-range jumper was definitely there, and it was definitely just the little tiny boost that we needed yesterday, especially with Jalen being out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he, kind of on both sides of the ball. He's obviously like again a big frame there, and just kind of he didn't try to do too much. He cleaned up the glass a lot. He didn't really take anything, I'd say, really outside of like 12 feet. It was all kind of an interior game for him. Obviously, he kind of like was a small forward type coming out of Duke, but he kind of played more of a power forward role last night, I'd say. Like I said, cleaned up the glass, was again hit maybe a few like not too far jumpers, but I'd say an overall impressive first game for Jabari. I think we were even texting each other late in that game where I think he was on the bench and we're like, hey, get him back in. Like again, this is a tight game. Obviously I think you're gonna have Tatum, Smart, Kemba, and maybe a big man out there. But I was like, get Jabari in this game. He's been one of the better players tonight. So
yeah, I was hoping he would like in this game he would get Grant's minutes, and it seemed like with like a couple minutes left, they ended up switching back to him because I think Curry was going on a run, so I think they needed more offensive firepower. And
yeah, he kind of played that 5 role almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
gotta say, who would have thought the top 3 picks, or 3 of the top 6 picks of the 2014 draft would be going off?
That's true. Yeah. The top 2, and then also Smart down there at 6. So, and it's funny though because Smart arguably had the best NBA career out of all of them, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, Wiggins is.
I was gonna say it's a lot of crap, but Wiggins is having a good year.
He is. He's been very efficient. I think that's the thing too with. Not that he wasn't getting it with Towns, but I mean he's more of an interior player. But now, like on the wings, I think it must have been some sort of pressure off him to not have to be the guy. I mean, you would expect someone, not even just for the number 1 overall pick, but like I remember him coming out of high school, even going into Kansas. This was like this is the Canadian Jordan, the Canadian Braun, or whatever. Yeah. So obviously he hasn't lived up to that hype, which was a lot, but he has really, and he had a good game last night too. He was knocking down a lot of open jump shots and really, kind of made this a tougher battle for the Celtics. Along with obviously Steph was insane in this game, but Wiggins was also a huge pain. And then another play too that was a real crazy one in this game and really kept the Warriors kept fighting back was that play by Toscano in the 4th quarter. That ball was about to go out of bounds. I still don't know how he got there in time. Like, let's just talk about the first half of the play alone. Like, I was like, I didn't get how he didn't step out of bounds during this whole thing, but launches himself.
It had to be out of bounds. So
right. So obviously takes the last step inbounds, jumps, able to save it almost like around his back, falls, goes crashing into the media table. Steph knocks down the 3 because of course he does, and then he's on the ground for a while there. Yeah, he hit his head hard.
Yeah, monitors were hitting his head. I think they ended up saying he cut his head on it. So
yeah, that's what I got the vibe of too. Yeah, I mean, because people are saying concussion. I'm like, I don't even know if he necessarily. He very well could have got concussion, but it gets even more like when they had the towels in. Like, yeah, I think it looks like he's bleeding. Like he might have like cut it or something.
I think like the monitor just hit him in the head and probably like.
Sliced it, give him a little slice, yeah. But no, absolutely incredible play. I mean, he's a guy that I think is really hard to not root for. He's 27 years old. It's his first year in the league, right? I think it was 5 years outside of college, and he finally made his way to the NBA. And I don't think he's going to be leaving anytime soon with plays like that, because he's also had a good year. for this Warriors team, kind of on the bubble of making that play-in tournament. So they're kind of right in the mix there at number 9. But he's been awesome this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're kind of like speaking of like they're on the edge of the bubble. It's like you're like, I really needed that much to be like a 9th place team in the West, but they're so weird this year. It's like any night they can end up being like look like the best team in the league just because of how well Curry can play.
Mm-hmm.
And like last night they were playing like that with how just basically Curry he had what 47 points. Like
if he ends up with 47.
Curry scores 47 points, the Warriors can beat any team in the NBA. So that's why I look back and think that's a good win, not like damn, we really squeaked by this like 9th place team.
Not to mention they're probably a little bit more in the mix if they're in the Eastern Conference. And again, a few games here and there make a huge difference. I mean, say they win a few more games than they lose. Like you're talking like competing for the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. So you know how logjam that is. It's funny you bring that up too, because and maybe it's because I'm more Eastern Conference focused. I'm not a huge fan of this play-in tournament. I don't think we need it. I got why it needed to happen last year. Just like that 8-9 game. Like, sure, like the bubble was weird. Fine. The only reason I'm even remotely in favor of it is because right now the Warriors would miss the playoffs, and I think they're a team that could be fun if they can get in. So that's the only reason I'm even slightly in favor. Because otherwise, I'm like, all right, you already let over half the team in, and half the teams of the league in anyway. Like, do we really need to let like 2/3 into this, like at least initial part of the playoffs? It's just, I don't know. Not a huge fan.
Yeah, I just want the Warriors to play the Jazz in the first round. That's all I want.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I mean, and it's going to be a little bit less fun than we thought. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But going back to this game here, so obviously the Celtics had different stretches where they looked like they were going to get blown out. Then it looked like it was going to be a close game. Then it looked like they were going to run away with it. Gets close again. You really don't know how this game's going to end. And I don't know. Tatum was absolutely phenomenal last night. I mean, because not even just the volume that he scored at, but the efficiency as well. He was 16 of 25, so he shot over 50% last night. I remember even early on, every time he shot it, I'm like, oh, they really need this bucket. It went in like every single time. He only really missed, maybe a 3 here or there, and then like there were some couple tough takes, but he was driving too. He wasn't necessarily just settling for jump shots. If the threes were open, he was taking them, and most often he was hitting them. But he was also driving a lot more, which I thought was great.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like he always made the shot when they needed it. It just seemed like he couldn't hit that like dagger shot.
Right.
Which again,
so
you're 16 25.
What's that?
Like you're 16 to 25. Like, oh well, someone else in the team can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. But then some of his teammates did help him out. There was a late 3 from Marcus Smart, who kind of seems to always do that, where he just goes like 0 for 10 or 2 for 11, whatever it is. But then he had like all the time in the world. I remember he
ran away from him.
Yeah, he rolled the ball. He just like took his time. Like a lot of times that's when they don't go in for a lot of players because they have too much time to think about it. But he absolutely nailed it. And then leading the game against Celtics start to pull away. Of course, what happens? Another Steph Curry 3, and then a huge. It ended up coming down like again. It was never fully over till it was over, but a huge 3 from Kemba late in the game that was almost a proverbial dagger late in that game.
Yeah, I consider that the dagger of that game. Like I said, Curry ended up hitting like a ridiculous shot after, but then
right.
Yeah, then like. Before that, and then Kemba hit the 3, then Curry did like the dickhead like 45-foot 3-pointer at half, or he just got the ball.
Because were they down 5 at that point?
They're on 5, yeah.
Yeah, he like
pulled up like it was.
I don't know. I know you need 2 buckets there, and you need it all the time. But there was like 10 seconds left, and you easily could have just like taken a 30-footer, which is already a far 3-point. Like you could have taken another 2 dribbles and knocked down a 3. You play the foul game, who knows? But he pulled up from like half court and just he got too cute. Let's put it that way. He gets too cute. I know. I was ranting about him last night in our text, Mike, and just like a lot of. Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, there's just. I don't know. I mean, when he came into the league, I think it was awesome. It's just I'm getting a little tired of his act, and it's just like a 3-pointer in the middle of a game that's like I don't know. It's just like I come on, man. Like let's just chill. Like it's not even late in the game. It's like the play. Like, I don't know. There's a time and a place for it, and he does it too much. And we've gone over the mouth guard situation before in the past. He was really doing that last night, but just that's also annoying. So, but he's good. I mean, he's amazing. I can't even I'm not even denying that he's a fantastic player. He just kick his leg out a little bit too much on threes, which is another thing I complain about. What's that? Yeah, thank God. That was bogus. That foul. So I'm glad they
That
overturned
was
that.
gonna be good too because I think they were up by like 2 possessions, and he would have had like free throws to go up like
He would
7.
have hit all three because
Yeah,
he's like best free throw shooter in the league. So that was huge. That was a huge momentum turn in the game. But it was again. I just feel like and granted, like this happens with a lot of veterans in the league. You kind of get those calls, but yeah, he definitely benefits from those where it's like, okay, you did not need to kick the leg out there. So that was a huge turning point in the game as well. But Steph, I mean, he's on a tear right now. He's absolutely killing it. He's almost at his MVP form here. He's been better than that in this sample size the last 10 games. I think he's been averaging like 40 points now because I think it was about 38 going into last night's game in his last 9. So he's probably close to 40 now in his last 10. But overall, great gutsy win without your number 2 guy there, Jaylen Brown. Big win over the Warriors there. So the team's finally starting to look good with some sort of consistency. They've won 6 games in a row now. Again, this is the time of year you want to be looking this good. Yeah, again, hopefully we get Jalen back, get Rob Williams back, and get this full team and lineup together as they head into the playoffs. And right now, those pesky Hawks keep sticking around. We can't get slow possession of 4th place. I think we're tied now. We're losing the tiebreaker. I don't know what that's quite determined by, but a proverbial tie in 4th place now with the Hawks.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the standings myself. The Knicks got another win today, looks like.
Knicks have also won 6 in a row. I put that on here as well. So, I mean, again, it's been kind of we've mentioned it before. They've been kind of hot, then they come back down to earth a little bit, and then now they're kind of hot again. But what a job by Tibbs. I mean, he kind of does that. I mean, it's especially short term. He seems to always go in and turn a bad team into contender for the most part. And what more can you say about Julius Randle too, having an absolutely phenomenal season?
Yeah, like I was listening to podcast, and they're talking about like most improved, and it's like, yeah, there's a couple guys you can give like Jeremy Grant or whatever, but like when the All-Star teams came out this year, it's like you had to make a place for Julius Randle. So like I think the most improved award should be handed to him.
Yeah, and Van Gundy last night was rolling off some stats too, like just like the improvements of points per game, and then the free throw percent. Oh, it's both 3-pointer and free throw percentage have gone up like 7%. Like so, it's literally the definition of most improved. And like you said, he was kind of a fringe starter, maybe bench player on not even a great team either. I mean, when he was with the Lakers, and then obviously in New Orleans as well, and then now he's the best player on a playoff competing team. So it's just like, again, I do think that Grant's had an amazing year as well as far as the improvement standpoint, but I think that you got to go Randall on that one. But yeah, otherwise for the Celtics, just kind of to roll off what we have coming up this week. They play the Bulls tomorrow night. Big matchup against the Suns on Thursday night. The second place Suns, and we'll get to them in a little bit here when we hop out west. And then Friday night, a huge matchup against the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn before wrapping up on Sunday with the Hornets.
Yeah, it's a back-to-back.
Thursday, Friday, yeah. Oh, that stinks because you're gonna be without Kemba for one of those games.
Yeah, I'm assuming he'll probably play the Brooklyn one.
I don't know. I feel like if it's even close, they play him the first. Like they don't pre-sit him sometimes, unless it's like both these teams or like one team stinks and the other team's really good. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays Thursday. But yeah, so he'll probably be out one of those games, and I think you'll be happy with the split if you're a Celtics fan in those games. Again, 2 tough teams there that are in the top 2 of their respective conferences, but interesting stretch there. Like I said, between the Bulls to Hornets, I think you got to go 3-1 in that stretch there. 2-2 maybe, depending on how things roll out. That probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I think you'd be very happy with 3-1. But the Sixers and Nets, they kind of keep competing for this number 1 spot. I feel like Brooklyn briefly grabbed it, but now Philly's back in the driver's seat now for number 1 here.
Yeah,
so it's been kind of up and down.
Yeah, Embiid's been playing out of his mind right now. So I definitely think. I mean, a lot of guys have been deservedly, but just due to injuries, it's definitely. I think it's a 2-man race between him and Jokic.
Which is crazy because when's the last time we've seen a big man win MVP? Like I literally have to go back. I'm like, is it Shaq? Like I'm like, is there someone in the middle? Because it's been all guards and Bron, like been all guards and forwards. Because you think of like LeBron, Giannis, KD, Harden. Then the guards with Harden, Westbrook, Curry, like
Steve Nash.
Yeah, we have to look that up. It has to be Shaq, right? I think Tim Duncan might have been in there, but I think Shaq maybe won one more recently than that. Did Dirk win?
Yeah, I
Did
think.
KG ever win? No, that was probably a little bit before though. KG was probably like 02 back in Minnesota or something.
Mhm. Yeah, because
These are all, but it's,
pretty sure Dirk was the MVP and the 1 seed the year of the Warriors beat them.
those. Oh, okay. The war 07?
Yeah.
The 07? Yeah. Okay. But either way, a long time. That's what, like, we're coming up on 14, 15 years for that. Because I'm saying, like, I could go back even a recent memory. I mean, like, because you go back to even like the Derrick Rose year, I don't think anyone's won after him as a big man. So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's been kind of in beating Jokic all year, especially like you said with some injuries here. I still think Harden has a case here, and I'm not even
He
a
hasn't
huge
played
James
last
Harden
couple
guy.
weeks.
That's true. It seems to be, it's always so like in the moment. You know what I mean? Like who's the what have you done for me lately argument. But that reminds me, just because we were like, it's like we're on the topic of trivia. To quickly go back to the Celtics, Mike. I was looking at their leading scorer for every single game this year. It's been Tatum, Brown, or Kemba for every game except one. Do you remember who it was?
Semi Ojale.
Yes. Remember that night where we were just knocking down every 3-pointer?
Yeah, that's. I was like, it's either him or Pritchard.
Yeah, no, I was scrolling through just like randomly, like all their games for the year, and like they always put like the high scorer there, and I was just like, Ojale was the only one that was outside of the
He's like
big
the
three.
Raptors,
So.
right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. But Pritchard did also have a good game. I think Pritchard had like 21 or something, and then he had 24. I think he ended with. So, just a fun little trivia question there when I thought about it. But yeah, again, the East seems to be kind of more the same. Sixers and Nets competing for 1 and 2. It just kind of, I mean, we're coming into the final stretch here. It seems like Philly might be able to hold them off. They keep playing strong basketball, but again, it's just a game right now. We'll see how that goes. Milwaukee seems like they're just putting their feet up, ready to take the number 3 seed. That seems like a lock deal. They're not going to quite catch Philly or Brooklyn, but no one's going to catch them. Then, like I said, Boston and Atlanta in that 4-5. Knicks, then Heat and the Hornets final running out 7-8. And right now, those final 2 spots are Indiana and Chicago. But look out for the Wizards. They won 4 in a row. Mm-hmm. And Chicago's been on a bit of a they've only won 4 out of their last 10, but the Wizards won 4 in a row, so I have to keep an eye out for them. Raptors not too far behind either. That's the only thing is it makes these like some games a little bit more interesting, this playing tournament. Like,
yeah.
Oh, the Bulls Wizards game. That could be, that could have some that has implications. Maybe not now, but in a few weeks.
Also, the potential 2-7 matchup right now with the Nets playing the Heat.
That's interesting. Because I think for a while, I think maybe a couple days ago, it was Knicks Nets, which would have been the Battle of New York there. That'll be interesting too. Yeah.
Win, so yeah.
Knicks Bucks. At that point, I almost want to see Knicks Nets. I don't know. We'll see. See how that all shapes out.
Heat Bucks.
So what's that?
The Heat Bucks getting this rematch of last year's.
That's true. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. I mean, I feel like the Bucks are kind of just like no one's talking. No, but no one's talking about them. Yeah, I mean, not only are they just telling you that it's just like they've had a good year, but again, we've seen them be amazing, kind of fizzle out. So we'll have to keep an eye on how they do once we get to the playoffs. And then just to hop out west for a little bit, again, Utah still in that number 1 spot, but some unfortunate news on Friday's game. I haven't quite seen the severity of it, Mike, but Donovan Mitchell in a weird matinee game on Friday afternoon in Utah rolled his ankle. Kind of one of those where he jumped in the air and kind of fell like sideways on his ankle. So again, I'm not sure if there's any long-term diagnosis there, but he's obviously going to be out for a little bit, which stinks because again, no matter what you think of the Utah Jazz or Donovan Mitchell, he is having a great year. If you want to see them lose, definitely want to see them lose healthy. So that's kind of obviously tough to see because he's been having a good year, especially going back to the bubble last year. So we'll have to keep an eye on how long Donovan's out, unless you just saw something, Mike.
No, I was looking. I don't think it's anything too serious though, which is nice.
Yeah, because I think because the clips kind of go around on Twitter on Friday, and I was almost expecting it. I thought it was going to be like an ACL thing, almost like we saw Jamal Murray. But then once he rolled his ankle, I'm like, yeah, that sucks. But like, I don't think it's anything too serious. So yeah, maybe Donovan will be back. But the only reason I was like, oh, if something is wrong there, because I wrote in our notes here too, Mike. I'm like, is a path forming for the Phoenix Suns? Because
I can't believe like if in my head, I'm like, they're good as 2 seed. Like, I didn't know they were like 40-16 though.
Yeah, it's insane. They've been absolutely phenomenal, and it just shows you the Chris Paul impact. I mean, he's a guy that a few years ago I probably gave a little bit of crap to, just readiness or whatever it might be, but like his presence in the locker room just clearly would have did in OKC last year, and now with this Phoenix Suns teams that were maybe on the bubble. I mean, Oklahoma City was supposed to stink last year, and he got them to like the 5 seed or the 4 seed, whatever it ended up being. And then now elevating Phoenix, who did look good out of the bubble last year without him, but taking him to 40-16 record. I mean, honestly, Devin Booker's been phenomenal.
Because like after the bubble, you were probably like, oh, like yeah, they'll probably like be in the mix next year. Like at least
yeah, they'll be 7-8 seed, yeah. So, but again, no, I don't think anyone saw them being number 2. Again, they're 8-2 in their last 10. So I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, if Utah fizzles or whatever reason, again, I mean, Donovan Mitchell doesn't seem like he's not too bad. The Lakers are, they have injuries. Denver, obviously, now with Jamal Murray being out, that's a huge blow to them. So I don't know. The Western Conference playoffs are going to be very interesting, right? As things are currently seeded. Again, I know the stupid playing tournament, but I'm just like assuming chalk at the moment. They'd face Dallas in the first round. I don't hate that matchup for them. Dallas is kind of a one-trick pony. They got Luka and a lot of inconsistency outside of it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of him, what a ridiculous shot he hit the other night.
Okay, I just don't get, like, I want, what is his 3-point percentage not in clutch situations? Like 15%? Because it's like, like his 3-point numbers are terrible, but every time he needs a big shot, he hits it.
I know.
Was that a 3 or a 2 the other day? I don't even know.
It was a 3.
It was a 3 because he ended up like he fell or he landed like 10 feet within it because he was like his momentum was carrying him. But
yeah, well, they were down by 2, so I think it.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So, but yeah, no, that was an insane shot. But I don't think that's an overly difficult first round matchup for them if that's how that plays out. I think you want to avoid like a Portland team. I think you want them to kind of end up in the 3, and then maybe them and the Clippers beat the crap out of each other. Who knows? We'll have to see how this Phoenix team goes. I think they're definitely destined to the second round, provided any no disasters come through. But I think they could compete. And they're a fun team, especially with Devin Booker. So. We'll certainly keep an eye on them. Like I said, Golden State trying to sneak in as well. I really do think that they could win as get into the we're right now they're sitting at 9. I think they could get into that 8 spot. I think they could beat Dallas or Memphis if whoever the loser of that game is. And like you said, maybe make some trouble for the Utah Jazz. We'll see. But yeah, we're hopping back into the NBA again. That game last night I think helped a lot, especially from a Celtics perspective.
Definitely helped me. I was so out.
No, it's been tough. I've been trying to start with let me start with the Celtics. They've been on I think them being good again, kind of like
yeah, that too
helps.
Something to watch. Like I was just getting I was getting into, like as Murray would say, I was just insulted watching the game sometimes. I'm just like,
yeah, no, it was a bad product for a lot of the season. So hopefully we've seen the last of that and we have at least competitive basketball, even if it doesn't. I've been saying before, no matter what round it ends up being, I mean, ideally the conference finals, but if you lose to Brooklyn in a competitive series, fine. I'll take that. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, losing to Philly they're a good team, so it wouldn't be the end of the world, but I'd rather lose to Brooklyn.
Yeah, just because we've owned Philly the past couple of years.
Oh, yeah. Seriously, especially after last year's playoff performance. But so let's get into the we'll move off the NBA here, go to a little bit of NHL. So the Bruins beat the Caps today 6-3. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. So I don't think it's kind of got a little murky there in the middle, but they're starting, it seems like, to find their form a little bit following the trade deadline.
Yeah, there was kind of like you said, it was murky for a little bit there. There was a lot of losses, some shaky goaltending with, Tuukka being out kind of stunk. And then it was just like a lot of inconsistency, like even like barely beating teams, like at one win that was like 7-5. And it's like, you really like they needed all that offense. And then like they took like the Sabres to like overtime. So it seems like a really big win today. And I feel like since the accusations that they've made between Hall, Lazar, and Riley, it's been a good week for the boys in black.
Yeah, absolutely. An impressive win today over the first place Capitals. I think it's good to have Tuukka back in net, and it was a pretty even game. Bergeron, Krejci, and Marchand 2 goals apiece in the 6-3 effort today. So again, kind of in conjunction with getting back into the NBA, those seasons obviously run together with the NHL, and the playoffs will start around the same time as well. But I did want to quickly, I know we kind of did this with the Celtics, just kind of taking a look ahead here for the Bruins. So 3 in a row actually against the Sabres this week, which is a little nuts. So obviously a team, I think
there.
I was about to say, Mike, you read my mind. I was going to say the exact same thing. 3 games against a bad team. I think, 5 points you got to come away with there. And then a Sunday matinee versus the Penguins, 3 o'clock on NBC. But pretty Sabres heavy week this week for the Bruins. And then kind of just what's
I was looking at the standings, and Sabres are already eliminated.
Is like anyone else eliminated?
No, it's the only team with an E next to them.
Oh my god! So
a nice 29 points on the year.
I was just reading. I'm like the Bruins aren't even the best team in the league, and they're almost doubling them. Like pretty much doubling them in points. If the Sabres have one less, they'd be doubling them. So we'll see how this week goes. I think at the very least like 4, but like I think you got to come away with 4 or 5 points here for the Bruins.
Yeah, hopefully so.
But kind of looking at the league as a whole, I was kind of again in my efforts of getting a little bit caught up. We're coming off the tournament, coming off the Masters, all that stuff. I did take a look at the standings today, Mike, and have you looked at the Central Division? Very, very tight atop the Central Division. 2 points separating 3 teams with Carolina, Florida, and Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I do think Tampa Bay will probably end up being the 1 seed there, just defending champs.
There's 3 right now, which is crazy.
Yeah, I gotta say Carolina's having a great year. Gotta tip my cap there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of like how it's like the 2 buckets. So there's a race for first where it's 62, 61, and 60, and then the race for that last spot, there's 49, 47.
Yeah.
So
like all 3 of those teams are firmly in. It's just who's gonna get the 1, and then then the race for 4th.
Yeah,
that's also an intriguing one, right? Yeah, 3 points separating Nashville, Chicago, and Dallas.
Canada division kind of stinks.
Yeah, because again, I quickly wanted to go again. I wanted to hit on that division, which is funny. It's funny too. I know they had to line things up weird this year because of COVID, but it's funny. Like, who's in the central? Who's leading the Central Division? Carolina, Florida, and Tampa Bay. That sounds like Central United States to me.
Yeah. Well, it's like the power is like the Blackhawks and the Red Wings are just not that good anymore.
Right. No, it's just funny that they ended up like in the Central due to this restructuring here. Yeah. But then then you look at the East standings with the Bruins. Hopefully, they have at least a playoff spot locked up. They have 6 points right now with the Rangers. They're sitting at 4. And then Washington, Pittsburgh, and the Islanders all atop them there. Just a couple points separating those teams as well. You mentioned, Mike, the Canada division. Not too impressive there. Oh, my God. Montreal, 47 points. I guess that's kind of like the Central as well. But 3 teams seem pretty locked in right now. What's that?
Yeah, even if you dip down the West, it's outside of Colorado and Vegas, and I guess Minnesota's playing pretty some good hockey as of late. But that 4 seed got like 500 teams.
Yeah, that's why I'm mad. I'm like, our division's awesome. Like the Rangers have 50 points. They'd be like in the playoffs in any other division, and they're going to be on the outside looking in here. Even Philly with 46, they'd be competing in some of these divisions as well. But all the talents in the East, I guess.
Yeah, kind of like the Coyotes to sneak in and get that 4th seed in that division.
Oh, I love the Yotes
because you got the Palmas the net on the call.
I could see this being another situation where Montreal sinks to the playoffs and just like wins 2 series somehow. And they like get to the Final 4.
It would be funny to play them in the Stanley Cup.
Could you? Oh my God, that would be nuts. The 1 year that it could actually happen. I know. Is that how they're doing it? Like, do we even know how they're like which side? Like, what? Like, if there's like a proverbial bracket, or is it just like high low?
Yeah, maybe just
reseed.
Yeah, I think high low would make the most sense. But like the fact that like when the Canadians were like at the beginning of the year, the Bruins and Canadians were like 2 of the hottest teams to start. There was a lot of like rumblings, like, oh, this could be the final. But I wasn't sure if that's like they already have the bracket set or it's like.
Yeah, like again, I don't know if we're just going in the order like the ESPN app has, where it's like Central and East on one side, and then like Canada and West. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll have to get answers on that one. But so Toronto leading the Northern Division, and then Colorado leading things out West. Both those divisions, a lot like all besides the East, have 3 clear-cut teams, and then the 4th is kind of a significant gap to see who sneaks in and gets the last spot there. But again, things will certainly keep an eye on going forward here. We're in the final month or so. Is NHL like I know they started a little later than NBA. Are they? I think they had a shorter season though, so I'm wondering if they're going to finish around the same time.
Yeah, I think they're like closer to like the 50 game mark.
Mm-hmm.
Let me
That sounds right, actually, right? Because you play it's 56, right? Because you play I mean, I know Canada's a little bit weird, but like you play 7 teams 8 times, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm going through like this. Seems like May 16th is the end, but I'm like, because I'm going through like the ESPN schedule, and it seems like everyone's playing until like Sunday the 9th, Monday the 10th actually, and then after that, it's
Okay.
just a lot of makeup games from the Canada division. Like
Okay.
one game on Thursday, one game on
Yeah.
Friday. It's like the Winnipeg Jets or like the Canucks.
Okay. Because I know the NBA, like the playing tournament starts like the 18th, I think, or something like
Yeah.
that. So,
Honestly, it's kind of crazy how like this is like hopping back to the NBA, like how much basketball these guys are going to be playing.
yeah.
From bubble to like a 2 week off season, they have to do this playing. So like they're gonna have to like compress so much scheduling if
I
there's
know. Well,
and then the last day of the finals is gonna be July 23rd, and then the Olympics start right away after that.
right, right. I know. Seriously. And then I wonder how next season's gonna look. Like, is it gonna be Christmas again, or is it gonna be like or like a little before Christmas, or is it gonna be like a hybrid, like November start? You know what I mean? Like, is it gonna be like I don't know if we're gonna go fully back to October. Seems like that's a little crazy, but then I don't know. We'll have to see where things like if they like slowly make their way back to like kind of their usual schedule, or if they kind of keep this new way of doing it. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that because that's very late start, and also like because I mean they want to do the 72 game season. A lot of back to backs this year. I keep being like, oh, Kemba's out. I'm like, why? I'm like, why do we have so many back to backs? And then like, there's still like 3 or 4 left the rest of the year.
Yeah, just like there's playing a lot of basketball. Like I think that's kind of like I was listening to Tyler and he was talking about like the
Yeah.
injury, and it's like this is just a lot of basketball. Like the amount of like times where like teams have to play like 5 games in 7 days.
Yeah.
A lot of travel.
I think
So
I think there's a healthy medium between what we're seeing and what we're seeing. Like there's no like can we just like the play I guess play especially every other day. Like we don't need the 2 days off. Like
yeah,
maybe if you're going cross country in the finals, but even then they always had those days wrong anyway. It's like, oh, we're staying in Cleveland, let's take 2 days off, but we're flying to California, we'll only take one. So I think there's a medium between having all these back to backs and maybe a much more spread out schedule. But for both these leagues, though, again, like I said, we're usually entering the playoffs around this time. We would have the first weekend or so, but another month as we head into the final stretch here for both NBA and NHL. A league that's right on schedule with when they usually are is the MLB, and we'll kind of wrap up with them because again we are in kind of a lull in the sports calendar. We'll get into a little bit into some NFL draft talk maybe next week, and we're about what like 11 days or so now, 10 to like again a week and a half.
yeah.
Week from Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get a little bit deeper on that. Again, the top of the board seems to be taking shape, but again, we'll dive a little bit more in once we get closer to that. We'll stick with baseball for now to kind of wrap things up. And much like we did with the other two leagues, we'll start local. Again, slowing down a little bit the past couple days, but the Red Sox still overall on an absolute tear and in first place in the AL East.
Yeah, it was a great win yesterday. It seemed like they're getting up 2 runs pretty early and able to come back. And even like the games they don't come back, it's like, like they still like fought. And
they come back, they just don't come all the way back.
Yeah, because even like the loss on Thursday, that was Red Sox have not lost a game. Did not lose a game in Minnesota that a siren wasn't going. So
okay, we do have to address that. Yeah. So you take away the up into that streak almost continued if you didn't include the siren. So that was weird. I mean, I was obviously working, so I had it on the background, I wasn't paying too much attention to it, but I seen everyone stand around. I think my first instinct, because if you remember, Mike, like again, this game had like 3 or 4 replays in it that all took forever, and I'm like, what now? Like, what are we delaying for now? I think I had to like refresh my computer or something, but then you just hear this siren going off. Like, was it a test? Like, was there?
It was a weather.
There wasn't any bad weather, right? Though.
No, it was like a weather like warning. Like like when you watch TV, like you get like this is a scheduled thing to like make sure.
Oh, the EAS.
Yeah, it's basically an EAS thing, just blaring in Minnesota.
But it was like a test, right? Like there wasn't any actual inclement weather.
Yeah, it's like, well, like what weather? Like it
would only be snow, which you'd be able to tell.
Yeah, you can tell. Like, okay, look at a Doppler.
Like maybe a tornado goes all the way up Tornado Alley. Like I don't know, but like, yeah,
and
apparently, it was very. They kept playing with it.
And apparently it went off again. Like they did it.
No, it did. No, it did. They started playing the game. Oh, at night? Oh.
Yeah, like 7:45 local time, they did it again.
Oh my God.
Well, that was the thing. Like I said, I was working too.
Let me play for you the song of my people.
I was like enthralled by the siren delay. I was like working. I just
Yeah.
had to take a break. I'm like, what is going on right now?
All those of the guys who were following it, just like the fans cheered when the siren went off, and they thought it was an encore. Just like, oh, you want more siren? But yeah, that was a wild one. I mean, they looked awesome in Minnesota because, like you said, they went 3-1. And Minnesota's a good team. They've had a solid year. Byron Buxton's been having an amazing year. I know he's kind of injured the last couple of games of that series. But yeah, they looked real good in that game. Because even like again, it was 3-0, and then Verdugo hits that bases clearing double to tie things back up. Obviously, they end up losing that game later on. But again, a hard fought series that ended a 9-game win streak. But obviously, still a very impressive outing for the Red Sox on that trip.
Yeah, and then even today, like they're down 3-1, and Hernandez at the home run, they make it 3-2, and it just seemed like it was a doubleheader. Like the game just ended too soon. Like I think if we played 9, would end up coming back.
I know. I don't hate the 7 innings just because of like I don't know, whatever. Like yeah, it's a long season, whatever. But then it's almost like instances like that where you're like, oh, there's still plenty of game left, and then just like the rug gets taken out from under you. Like, oh wait.
Oh yeah, that was me. I was like doing errands. I'm like, oh, I can leave. It's only like the 4th inning. And I got in the car, and it's like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, home run the 6th, we're back. And then like I was like finishing my errand. It's like down to their final strike. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a 7-inning game. I was like so confused for a second.
It's like in high school when we play the 5-inning doubleheaders. But yeah, so they've been rocking the blue and yellow jerseys this weekend for the marathon. Obviously got delayed on Friday night because of the weird snow / rain / monsoon, whatever the hell was happening up here. So no game on Friday. Played yesterday, like you said, impressive win yesterday. It's kind of one where it was tight and they were kind of able to blow it open a little bit later on in that game. Huge home run from Marwin Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know if you were delayed there. I think my computer was acting weird. But yeah, huge shot from Marwin Gonzalez, and they were able to kind of blow it open a little bit later. Doubleheader today. They dropped the first one, like you said, kind of just ran out of time in the first one. And I think the second one just got underway.
Yeah.
Here. I think it was a 5-5 start.
5-10 first pitch.
Yeah, so that one just getting started. What's
that? Former Red Sox Kopech with the start today.
Kopech starting today? Awesome.
Yeah, against Martin Perez.
Martin
2 singles already for the White Sox, so.
I saw the runners on first and second. Well, better than the first game started, huh? The Tim Anderson home run. Looks like I got the game cast up. Another single. Oh no, that might just be delayed. Anyway, but yeah, so they play today, and then our classic. I think one of our favorite games of the year, Mike. The one we went to a couple years in a row. I think when we were younger. I actually went a couple years ago as well. The 11 a.m. first pitch on Marathon Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like how like they're wearing the jerseys this weekend, but they're still gonna wear like the Boston ones on Monday.
Oh, they are. They're not wearing the blue.
Yeah, I think they're wearing the Boston.
Tomorrow, or today.
Kind of like for.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that is good. Again, a lot of people don't like them. I'm like, here's what I've been saying, and I'm a huge like a jersey guy. Like just like. Don't do what the NBA does. Just wear them this weekend. I think that's awesome. Wear them marathon weekend. Wear them all weekend, and then you wear the red Boston ones on, or the white ones with the red lettering Boston ones on Monday. Perfect. Fine. You can still sell them.
And then like Mother's Day, if you want to have everyone wear pink, or
sure, yeah, I'm fine for like one-offs here.
Like Memorial Day, like if you want like the camo stuff, like cool. But like for 162 games, like I want like at least like 80% of the schedule to be like in your generic.
It's just like. I text my buddy Tony about it all the time. Like, when's the last time the Celtics just wore their home whites at home? Like,
yeah, because even like
3 years ago,
I see them on the road, and it's like, oh, they're wearing the white ones, and it's like, oh, the parquet editions. And then guess what? Next year, like these jerseys, like they're like the parquet ones, like they're not going to wear those next year.
No, I hate these. I almost hate the deal with Nike. Like, I was just like, just give me like 1 or 2 alternates you wear like 10 times a year. But anyway, we'll go too deep on that. But the Red Sox. I mean, what else can you say? I think early on, exceeding a lot of expectations for what people thought they would be this year. Currently sitting at the top of the AL East with a 10-5 record. We'll see how they do today in the second half of the doubleheader, and then tomorrow against the White Sox as well. Mike, on the other side of the AL East, my AL champion that I am very, very happy to be wrong about. Start spreading the news. The Yankees are 5-10 in last place. They stink.
I was thinking of that.
They're so bad.
that old like Fuddleberg clip, and it's like the Yankees stink. They're not good. It's like I even like watched the game today. It just does not seem like a fun time right now. Like the fans are
No.
pushing them. Like,
Did they throw baseballs on the field the other day? Friday night?
No, I didn't know.
No, they did. They did. Yeah. Stay classic.
Judge and Stanton couldn't stop swinging at sliders. Like,
I want to see. Hold on. Now I have to look
just
this.
retiring now. Like,
is he really?
Yeah, he just like started the first couple of games because of Luke Voigt's on the IL, and I think he just played so bad he's just retiring.
Just pulling up Vontae Davis.
Yeah.
Man, I'm done. But yeah, wait, hold on. Now I need to look this up just because I need to know what is Gary Sanchez hitting. I was actually hitting pretty well. 237. That's actually a lot better than I thought he'd be hitting.
Yeah, well, because he's like their backup catcher, like Higoshiyawa or whatever. Like, he's pretty good. I know Cole likes him.
Yeah. We got Stanton hitting 176. Yeah. Torres 196. Yeah, this team stinks. Yeah, it's really early on. This could very well turn around, but I have to enjoy it while we can. Seeing the Yankees in last place, especially after everyone, including myself, gave them a lot of. I don't know if it was like subconsciously a reverse jinx, but I was just like, I don't know. I think they're going to be really good, and then now they find themselves in last place. Not a lot of teams doing worse than them right now. Maybe the Rockies 4-11.
That under bet's looking good. Knock on wood.
Yeah, absolutely. And then kind of going around the league. The only thing I do also want to add, besides the Yankees stinking, is this Dodgers Padres series, which I don't really understand how every single one of these games isn't on national TV, or at least like MLB Network or something. I had to.
I didn't get.
Sorry, good.
FS1 did have a game yesterday.
It was ours.
Huh?
It was our game.
No, but night game. They were gonna do the Twins Angels.
Oh, okay.
That one got banged because of COVID. But I was like, I get like you want to show Trout and Ohtani, but like I feel like they should have used that slot for the Dodgers Padres.
They're reaching like peak. Like, I mean, the Rivalry's not quite the same, but it's almost like the Red Sox Yankees for a while. It's like, okay, the Friday night game might be local, but then Saturday and Sunday are national TV. Like that, I just think that should go without saying. And okay, one, I agree with you. Like, why are you putting the Angels on over them? And two, we have technology now. You can't even like do like the MLB Network, just simulcast, like throw Don Diego on there, like just just put it on, like put it on.
No, because even like some of these like FS1 games, like on a Saturday night, I feel like if like one team has like a Fox, well now it's fucking Rally or Bally or whatever, they just like use that broadcast because I'm pretty sure like I've like watched games, the Padres games on FS1, and they just use Don Marcello because like it's all fun.
Yeah. So exactly. So I don't know. Yeah, I had to find some weird illegal stream after. I mean, I was mostly watching the Celtics game, so I didn't worry about it till it was almost late in the game, and I literally turned it on just to see that catch from Mookie. But kind of going back to, let's start with Friday night. Friday night was kind of a crazy one too, Mike. Right?
Yeah, with the extras.
Mm-hmm. And was that the game, or was it last night? No, last night was the Kershaw thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Profar.
Yeah. So, seems like that they're gonna look testy right now. And
so Friday obviously went to extras, and last night there was the whole. What did Profar do? He like, I forget what he did. He. Do you remember exactly what happened?
No, I forgot. I was again watching the Celtics with you, so I missed that.
It was something like, Kershaw thinks he like swung to get a catcher's interference call, and I don't know, it's kind of dumb, but then obviously gets into extra or not extras to get to the ninth rather, and it was a 2-0 game, and this was literally the only play I turned the game on for. That left the bat, and I'm like, that's down. That's 100% down for a hit. Padres are going to get 2 runs in. This game's going to be tied. And I was actually getting excited because I'm like, all right, now I'll throw this on for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Mookie comes out of nowhere, center field, somehow gets the ball. I think Orsillo actually called it he thought it went down for a hit.
I thought it was a hit at first. Just the way it bounced in his glove, it looked like that has to be
right. But it hit the heel.
He had enough love underneath it, so
yeah, it hit the heel of the glove and absolutely. Which shows you too, because I mean, when he was here, and obviously we had Bradley, who's a phenomenal center fielder. Just like you forget how like Mookie is also a great center fielder. I mean, I know he's been playing right for them too with Bellinger, but I know he's been out for a little bit. I want to see more center field Mookie because I think that's like he just keeps ending up on teams that have legitimate center fielders, and it's probably less on his body if he does play right, but he's awesome at center.
I know, but I think I just like the coolness of like he's a right fielder. Like usually that's like kind of like not the coolest position.
I know, but just like I'm thinking, but center is so cool. That's why I want to see him there. But yeah, so a fantastic catch there. I assume because I saw they're not even the Sunday night game tonight, right? So are they playing right now?
Playing right now. The Dodgers are up again.
The Dodgers are 13-2.
Yeah.
How crazy? How stupid is that?
Snell, Bauer today. Nothing but a great matchup.
Okay.
Yesterday was Darvish. Like, must watch CBA these 19 times they're going to play this year.
Yeah. So again, there's a bit of a lull, but I'm getting myself jazzed up between the final stretch for NBA and NHL and also these MLB games. I want to see a lot more Dodgers Padres. I know they play 15 more times now this year, which is awesome. I just get these games on TV. I mean, like again, I could try to find these weird back alley streams, but put them on TV.
I thankfully got the hookup for MLB TV from a roommate.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to throw this out there. I was going to say it to you anyway, but even though we have a very small listening base here, if someone can get this up to MLB headquarters, since you already screwed up my Nesson YouTube TV thing, if you could somehow not black these games out, I'll buy MLB TV. I will buy MLB TV. Like I will get it for the whole year if you just let me watch Nesson on there or let me watch the Red Sox. I have no reason to get it now because it's like, okay, I watch everything but the Red Sox. Why would I do that? Mm-hmm. But it would be worth an investment. I think, especially if you could have a couple like users on there, or whatever the case might be. But it seems like a solid investment.
It's definitely, I think, like just because of like the quantity of games.
I was gonna say the best deal, right? What's it for the year? Like $80 or something?
I get it. It's if T-Mobile, you get it for free. So
okay, I think it's like $80.
Gives me his login. I just have it saved in my app.
Right, but that's again. We can go on how many things MLB screws up, but that's one of them. Just stop making this so complicated for us to watch games. Yeah. Put more good ones on national TV and don't black out games because a lot of people don't have cable, especially now. You know, if you want to get these young viewers, a lot of them don't have cable. I have the weird online cable that didn't strike a deal with Nesson, so just figure it out. That's what I'll leave them with because I want to enjoy your product.
Yeah, it's like also at the same time, like I'm like, oh, well, I guess like the Braves are like the Braves playing tonight. It's like, oh, I guess I want to see Acuna and all that, but like they were on last week. Like they're literally the Sunday night.
That is true. And that is I think one. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm maybe like I said, there's going to be another 6 series between the Dodgers and Padres. Maybe like the other 4 are all Sunday night baseball. So it's like, oh,
yeah.
It's like maybe we can do like a Wrigley Field game like to start off the year, and like we'll show the others later. But like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what happened to every single series for Red Sox Yankees. It was like, okay, local on Friday, Fox on Saturday, ESPN Sunday, every time. Unless one of them really stunk late in the year, but still. And then you mentioned Acuna. He's been an absolute tear again. Proud number 1 pick of Das Sound Machine. Hopefully we can. He's been proud of a lot of offense. But pitching staff stinks, but we'll see how that goes. And then finally, we wanted to wrap up with the no for Rodon for the White Sox. Almost a perfect game, and then that was like a weird hit by pitch thing too, right?
Yeah, it was like so he's
not quite Conforto, but
it was a left-handed. So Rodon's a left-handed pitcher, and he hadn't really do count, so he tried to throw a nice slider down and in, and it just slid too much, and then it hit his back foot.
Yeah,
and he didn't really try to get out of the way, so it was a little back and forth. I don't know. I kind of hate when people it's like weird
the no hitter, the perfect game police.
I kind of know, but I'm kind of on their side. Like the play before that, Josh Naylor had a ground out to first, and Jose Abreu had a ridiculous play to get and touch the base on time. But this dude was diving into first base, trying to get this infield single down 8-0. It's try your hardest, but you don't have to go to break up a perfect game. I know you don't want to get perfect gamed against, but it's a cool thing to be a part of. Run your hardest, but I'm not a big Josh Naylor guy right now.
Because some people don't even do that in a normal situation anyway. Yeah. I'm not saying just jog to first.
Yeah, run your fastest. Of course, try
through the bag.
But don't be diving. And then the fact that Roberto Perez was the guy who got hit in the next batter. He's oh, I didn't even know there was a perfect game going on. It's are you bull? I'm calling bull there.
Worldwide Wob.
Yeah.
I got Rob Perez getting all the hate tweets from. That's always hilarious when someone has a very similar name and they get that been a Brandon Marshall, the linebacker, all the time.
Yeah.
People going at the wide receiver in fantasy. But yeah, I mean, Stinks didn't get the perfect game, but obviously great that he was able to get away with the no hitter.
Yeah, great story. He's 29. He's only pitched like coming into this year. He only pitched 7 games, I think, in 2019.
Oh
And
wow.
he had
Okay.
a TJ. And he's been a White Sox for his entire career, and I think they're like maybe thinking of parting ways with him, but they gave him one last shot and he won the last rotation spot. So very happy for Carlos football.
Also, Mike, and I didn't write this down as well because that reminds me that is obviously a great story for Rodon there. But how about this other guy, Kazmar?
Oh
Did you hear
yeah,
about him?
yeah.
Well, he hasn't played a game since 2008, and then he's playing for the Braves now. So he got his first at bat in 13 years last night. That's absolutely crazy.
Wild.
I mean, like, we've seen some big gaps before, especially in baseball. I think it's a sport where you can kind of like make your way back to, but 13 years, that's a long time.
Crazy.
So good for him to come. I saw Kazmar trending, and I thought, I'm thinking Scott Kazmir. I'm like, he's back again because he already had one of those like weird like few-year gaps. He was pitching for like the Sugarland Skeeters or something with Roger Clemens, and then he was back with the Angels. Or something. It was weird. But no, some good stories out there for sure. But yeah, I think that pretty much does it for today. Again, got kind of caught up on baseball or basketball rather than hockey, hitting the final stretch and just kind of in our first couple of weeks of baseball here as we hopefully start to head to some more consistent nice weather. I know we had a bit last weekend and it was kind of a mixed bag here, but end of the weekend pretty strong here. I'm ready for the nice weather. Hopefully everyone can get vaxxed up here. We can find ourselves back with Fenway soon. I'm excited for that. And I don't know. Hopefully a lot of good stuff going forward here for sure.
Yeah, definitely hoping for brighter days.
Yeah. So I think that does it for today. We'll probably be back on Wednesday night. Again, after doing our Sunday afternoon show here. Hope everyone has a great rest of their night and a great end of their weekend. And we'll see everyone on Wednesday.
Have a good week, everyone.